Alright, so we're going to talk about how to do that problem from last week. Make sure you stop the video and rewind it a little bit if you need to, or stop the video and ask somebody for help if there are some pieces that you're not sure about. You can also sort of look through the printed copy of the answers as we go along here, but I'm basically just going to talk through the steps. So step number one is we're going to find the slope of the line. And so, whoops, that's not a very good pen here. So we're going to find the slope of the line, and we've got our 2 points, so 2, -7, and -4, 5. And I think it's helpful sometimes to make sure you label them with the x and the y. So first is the x and then is the y, just as a reminder of how they fit into the formula. And then the slope formula is change in y over change in x. And so that's an x. And so now we're going to subtract to find the change. And so I'm going to do 5 minus -7 over -4 minus 2. And some of you are making some mistakes with the negatives. Just be real careful. Remember, keep change, right? We're going to change those two. And so on the top we get 5 plus 7 is 12, and on the bottom we get -4 minus 2 is -6. And so that slope is -2 when you reduce. 12 divided by 6 is 2, and then that one negative makes the answer negative. And so now I've got my slope, and so I know my equation that I'm looking for is y equals mx plus b. And I'm going to fill in the slope that I just figured out. So I have y equals -2 times x plus b. I need to figure out what b is, and the way I'm going to figure that out is I'm going to go back to either one of these points that I started with. Some of you, I think, were using the slope formula over here, but we don't want to use the slope formula anymore. We're done with that. We want to go back to one of the points that we were working with and plug the coordinates of the point into the equation. And we just have to remember we've got x and y. And so I'm going to go back to this first point here, and I'm going to plug in the y from that point. So the y was -7. I still know the slope is -2. And I know the x coordinate from that point is +2. And so now I have those three things plugged in. I have the slope, I have the x-coordinate, and the y-coordinate all plugged in. And now this is just a little equation. I can multiply the -2 and the 2 to get -4. And then I add 4 to both sides. And I end up finding out that b equals -3. Then you have to make sure you write your final answer out, right? I now know the slope, and I know the y-intercept, and so my final equation is y equals -2x, that's the slope, and then -3, that's the b value. And so now I found the equation of the line that goes through those 2 points. And if you make a little sketch of the graph, you see that it all works out nicely. If you graph those 2 points and connect them, you'll see it has a slope of -2, and it should cross the y-axis right at 3. So hopefully that was helpful. Again, if you missed some steps, go back and watch it again and get the correct answer copied down onto your sheet from last week, and then move on to the next steps that are listed on Moodle. Thanks.